Once there lived a man called Chief Chinedu Okafor. His name carried weight. In boardrooms abroad, people rose when he walked in. In churches, his donations rebuilt broken roofs. In his village, his name was mentioned with pride. Our son has made it. Chinedu was a wealthy Nigerian man who lived abroad with his family. God had blessed him with a beautiful home, a devoted wife, and 4 children. 2 gentlemen and 2 ladies, well-mannered, brilliant, and deeply loved. He loved them with a love that had no conditions, no limits. He was the kind of father who listened, who sacrificed sleep so his children could dream freely. He never forgot home. From abroad, his money flowed like a river into Nigeria. School fees for siblings. Hospital bills for uncles and aunties. Business capital for cousins. Dowries paid. Houses built. Problems solved. He helped his wife's family as though they were his own blood. When they called, he answered. When they cried, he sent relief. People praised him as a good man. Some even said, if not for Chinedu, we would have suffered. But wealth has a way of lying to people. They mistook his generosity for permanence. Then came the storm. A business deal collapsed. One wrong signature, one trusted partner who betrayed him. What took decades to build began to crumble in months. Accounts froze. Assets vanished. The respect in people's voices slowly changed. Before the failure fully swallowed him, Chinedu told his wife something that came from a tired soul. I want to go home. I want to rest in the village. Just for a while. She did not argue, but her heart had already left. When the money finally dried up, she left him. No goodbye that mattered. No promise to stand by him. She walked away with cold silence, leaving him with memories and questions. As if that wasn't enough, sickness struck. It started quietly, weakness, pain, sleepless nights. Then it grew teeth. His body failed him the same way people had begun to fail him. So he returned to his village, hoping for comfort among his own. But the village he returned to was not the village that once celebrated him. His brothers and sisters, the same ones he had lifted with his wealth, changed. At first they pretended to care. Then impatience crept in. Then disgust. Then cruelty. They whispered behind his back. He has finished. There is nothing to gain from him anymore. His sickness worsened. He became too weak to step outside. The man who once fed many tables was now locked behind closed doors like an unwanted secret. His siblings did not clean him. They did not sit with him. They did not ask how he slept. They would drop food once a day, sometimes twice, sometimes not at all, as though feeding a stray animal. No care. No warmth. No dignity. He lay on his mat, staring at the ceiling, tears soaking into old pillows. At night he prayed quietly. God, I helped them with all I had. Was it wrong to love too much? Sometimes he thought of dying there, alone, forgotten, betrayed. But love does not forget. Far away, his children had been searching. The 2 gentlemen and 2 ladies, now grown enough to understand life, refused to believe their father had simply vanished. They asked questions. They followed traces. They ignored lies. Until one day they found him. When they opened that door and saw their father, thin, weak, barely breathing, their world shattered. They cried. They held him. They knelt on the floor and wept like children again. Daddy, we are here. For the first time in years, Chinedu felt safe. They did not ask who failed him. They did not argue with his siblings. They rescued him. That same week, they took him away, far from the village that broke him, to a place where he could receive proper medical care, love, and dignity. Slowly, his health improved. Not overnight, but steadily. Friends he once helped, people who remembered his kindness when he had nothing to gain, came forward. They paid bills. They stayed. They spoke life into him. His children became his strength. They sat by his bed. They reminded him of who he was. They became his family when blood failed. And one quiet evening, as the sun dipped low, Chinedu smiled for the first time in years. Not because he was rich again. Not because life was perfect. But because love returned to him when he needed it most. He never went back to that locked room. He never depended on wicked hands again. Surrounded by his children and genuine friends, Chinedu lived the rest of his days in peace, care, and honor. And his story became a lesson whispered across many hearts. Not everyone who eats with you loves you, but true love will always come back for you. And so they lived, healed, restored, and finally at peace.